Hello and a very warm welcome. Race 1 Australia. Bottas absolutely dominant. The new Valtteri Bottas. This is the Bottas we need to see if he wants to win a world championship. Dominated the race. Took Hamilton to school. When do you ever see Lewis Hamilton get beat by a teammate by 25 seconds? Bottas absolutely sensational. Perfect race for Valtteri Bottas. I mean, if he drives like that, he's definitely in with a title shout. So we start the race. Bottas gets ahead of Hamilton and then literally dominates the race. Dominates the race. Fastest lap as well. Ricciardo in front of his adoring fans. He goes on the grass. Perez gave him the squeeze. They didn't touch. He goes on the grass and somehow his front wing broke. And that was basically the end of Ricciardo's race. Kubica also on the first lap loses his front wing. I felt sorry for Kubica. He's basically just driving around in last place, and we know he's talented. And yeah, I was sad to see that because he's just driving around in last place. It was basically a test for Kubica. Leclerc runs wide turn 1. Sainz is then out the race. He pulls up on the pit entry, smoke coming out the back of the car. Early pit stops lap 15, 16. Another Haas issue in the pit stop, slow stop. Grosjean later retires. Was it another wheel issue? Grosjean, it happened last year. I think it happened again, to be honest, but we'll have to wait for that. Then Lando Norris is having a great race. He's in P8. Pit stops come, and then he's stuck behind Giovinazzi, stuck behind Giovinazzi. Gasly, Kvyat and Stroll all stayed out, and they basically jumped Norris because Norris got stuck behind Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi was defending for his life. Bottas dominating the race. We're on lap 30. He's 16 seconds ahead. He absolutely took Hamilton to school. I've never seen Hamilton battered like that. I mean, Bottas, sensational, honestly. And then a big shock. Red Bull Honda, their opening race under Red Bull Honda, and Max somehow passes Vettel. Vettel was dreadfully slow. I mean, who would have thought that from testing Ferrari were dominant, they were going to win the race, and they were absolutely nowhere in the race. And then Ricciardo retires. He's basically running around in 17th. They probably could just called it a day. I mean, a disaster for the Aussie man. It honestly was a disaster. And then, what did we have? Huge battle for 10th place. Gasly's put on the tyres, soft tyres. He's attacking Kvyat. Kvyat, brilliant to hold off. I thought team orders would come in. And then we're in the first race. Leclerc was 6 seconds behind Vettel, 12 seconds, 6 seconds. He catches Vettel up. Ferrari 100% gave team orders. They told Leclerc hold position. Of course, we never heard it broadcasted, but 100% that's what happened. That's an absolute disgrace in the first race. Yes, we know Vettel's number 1, but Leclerc was quicker. Vettel had an issue, he must have done. He was slow. But to call team orders in the first race, it's a disgrace. That's scandalous. What the hell is he doing on the TV? Anyway, so fastest lap Valtteri Bottas. Race rating, I'll give it 5 out of 10. I'm elated Formula 1's back. We actually saw some overtakes round Albert Park, which was decent. Driver of the day, Valtteri Bottas. Race 1 Australia. Bottas dominant. Magnussen excellent. And disaster for Ricciardo at his home race. So, first place, Valtteri Bottas. Honestly, if he drives like that, he can fight for the world champion. Absolutely fantastic. Dominated from start to finish. Fastest lap. Took Hamilton to school. Perfect weekend for the finishman. Hamilton, second. Disaster. I mean, it's not a disaster because he's got second place, but considering his teammate beat him by 25 seconds, an absolute horror show by Lewis Hamilton. World champion, and Max was all over his arse in the last couple of laps. Third place, Max. I mean, if you'd said to Max, your opening race, you're going to beat both Ferraris, he would have took it. Brilliant performance by the Dutchman in his Red Bull Honda. And then come the Ferrari boys, an absolute horror show by Ferrari. We thought they'd win the race, we'd thought Ferrari would dominate, they were nowhere. And the team orders is a disgrace, honestly. First race, I mean, they clearly told Leclerc to hold position. That's a scandal, honestly. First race of the season, Leclerc should have been fourth. He was quicker than Vettel every day of the week, but they told him to hold position. Vettel fourth, Leclerc fifth. Best of the rest, Kevin Magnussen P6. Excellent by the Danishman. Hulkenberg, Mr. Consistent, is P7. Raikkonen on his debut for Sauber is P8. Lance Stroll, wonderful by the Canadian. Is he talented? Or is he a paid driver? Today he's proved it. He's beat his experienced teammate in Perez, gets points. Stroll is P9. So yeah, that is wonderful by Stroll. Danny Kvyat, the returner to Torpedo, he got his balls out today. He pulled a move on Stroll, ended up in the gravel. Then it was close with Gasly coming out the pits. Kvyat held Gasly off, no team orders. I thought Red Bull would tell him to move over. Pierre Gasly, tough weekend, disaster of a qualifying, and he's not even got in the points. Max, brilliant, gets a podium. Gasly's 11th, horror show. Lando Norris, P12, on his debut for McLaren. Brilliant weekend for Norris. His qualifying was excellent, but stuck behind Giovinazzi cost him big time. He got jumped by Stroll, Gasly and Kvyat. So, feel really sorry for Norris because he's not done anything wrong. He just got stuck behind Giovinazzi. Sergio Perez, 13th. Not a great weekend for Perez. I mean, it was a good qualifying, but beaten by Stroll in the race. Alexander Albon, 14th. Giovinazzi, 15th. Fought for his life to keep Norris behind. George Russell, 16th on his debut for Williams. I mean, he's just running round as if it's a test. Williams are poor. They're the worst car on the grid by a country mile. Robert Kubica, 17th, the talented Polishman, running round as if it's a test. And his race was over, basically after lap 1. So there we have it. F1 is back. Brilliant by Valtteri Bottas. Honestly, so dominant. I can't believe it. Fastest lap. Led every single lap. Takes Hamilton to school. Wow, we're in for a good season. There's big shocks. Bottas performing like a world champion today. Red Bull Honda on the podium. Ferrari nowhere. Gasly out the points. Magnussen superb. People like Lance Stroll getting in the points. On his debut for Force India, he gets in the points. And is he going to prove these doubters wrong that he's not a paid driver and he does have talent? Danny Kvyat, he gets a lot of stick all the time. And he's absolutely brilliant, holding off the sister Red Bull. And Norris, I feel sorry for Norris. Brilliant weekend, did nothing wrong. Just needed to get past Giovinazzi. But there we have it, race 1 is done. Look out. Qualifying reaction, race reaction. Look out for driver ratings for the Australian Grand Prix. Bottas on the podium, Hamilton 2nd, Max 3rd. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments down below. Valtteri Bottas, a world class race. Driver of the day, fastest lap. Brilliant. Brilliant by the finishman. Wow, F1 is back. Brilliant. I'm so happy. But Hamilton, wow, taken to school by the finishman.